Welcome, one and all folks and fellas. Tonight we have the 14th tourney of the Super Smash Bros. Crusade CMC plus CPU Tournament Series, Who Reigns Richest. Our roster theme for this one is Everyday Heroes. Your average Joe's the neighborhood friend, and that guy just happens to put in some extra training. We've wrangled together all these street-level dealers to see who gets the most gains. To introduce tonight's money-making masters, we have Little Mac, Rock Lee, Lynn, Rob, Hank Hill, Steve Minecraft, Sato Kazuma, Taiga Isaka, Captain Falcon, Mach Rider, Yu Narukami, Madeline, Dan Hibiki, Kyoko, Hoshimachi Suisei, and Amy Rose. These matches will be one round single elimination. Whichever competitor has the most coins by the end of 3 minutes will move on to the next round. No items, random stages, final smash on. With our fighters at the ready and the contingent set, it's time to see who reigns richest. We move over to our primary screen as my controller does not disconnect. Right. And we start to the first match. As I unmute this, we go to the game. And we have our first match of Little Mac versus Rock Lee. And we're starting on this stage again. I know Boss Bash, the last time it started on this stage. It's a little bit of a quirky stage, music and setup wise. I feel like for Little Mac especially, it's going to be useful for these lower platforms to exist, because it's going to be a lot less likely that our unfortunate little fighter here, who's going to excel the most on the ground, that he has this ground territory to work with. For Rock Lee, something like that does not matter. I mean, obviously, he's gonna need some platforms to jump off of. He as a, what is it, a ninja in the Naruto universe, he honestly kind of sucks. He's technically one of the worst. But, however, despite that self-destruct, he is one of the strongest fighters in the Naruto universe. Which seems a little bit of a contrast from the Everyday Heroes theme, you know? Like, we got some real, just normal, everyday guys going on. Like, Little Mac, this is just a normal guy. He's just a normal boxer, but he is pretty strong. Little Mac does put in the work. Both of these fighters have put in the work to stand among the best. And while that was a strong KO punch from Little Mac, it didn't really KO. Rock Lee again, seemingly almost falling off of the stage. Not the green fighter we were expecting to fumble in the air. And if we're looking at the coins right now, Little Mac is doing pretty good. Rock Lee isn't really getting all of these hits in. I don't know if he's holding back because he's worried, like, sure, he can't use any ninjutsu himself, and neither can Little Mac, but like, Rock Lee isn't sensing anything from this guy. It just feels like a normal, average civilian. And of course, Little Mac used to being looked down upon. I've forgotten the background. Ignore this one. Hold on. Hold on. I look over, I'm like, hold on, that's not the right background. It's looking awfully dim over here. Ignore that. Just as... You know what? I think Little Mac's just held a solid lead this entire time. I'm not sure what this little aura thing is doing for him, but it's doing enough. If Little Mac lives for the next 10 seconds, if Rock Lee gets a KO, then it's all over for Little Mac. Because the lead isn't that big. However, the combos are just enough for Little Mac to move on to round 2. And we support our small-time fighters. Alright, I'll adjust the ranking in a moment as I set up the next match. As I set up the next match of Rob versus Lynn. Alright, now you might be saying, okay, well, Lynn's from Fire Emblem, right? Fire Emblem has a lot of really crazy shit going on, doesn't it? How is Lynn a normal character? Well, Lynn doesn't have any royal bloodline. Lynn doesn't have anything. She's truly just a girl from the plains. I mean, she's a good fighter. That, of course. But she's just there. She just happens to become a protagonist. And if I recall correctly, it's also in part of like the main character slash self-insert who's like the strategist who never shows up. It's kind of like the Fire Emblem Awakening Robin situation, except you don't matter. You're just there to give everyone the tactics. Though it's still nice. And as we have this hunter from the plains fighting against a futuristic robot, the Nintendo... Do we call Rob an entertainment system? Does he actually run anything? Isn't he just like, oh yeah, I'll hold your game console? Isn't that all he was? And then Sakurai, the insane yet mostly genius game developer that he is, was working on Super Smash Bros. Brawl and was like, what if we turn this piece of Nintendo gaming history into not just a mass-produced robotic enemy in the main story, but also a playable character. We make Rob matter again. And you know what? Rob still does matter. We haven't seen too much of it in this match, but pulling out the spin top plus the side B spin, that's done wonders and horrors for people in the in the Smash Bros. Competitive fighting community, even among casuals. Let's be real. Rob unfortunately doesn't seem to have much of his flight in this iteration, despite, you know, constantly spewing the flames out of his bottom side. And that is an unfortunate double SD on Rob's part, who is kind of doing pretty well. And then Lynn, you know, she's doing a homie stock, you know? Lynn is also fumbling. You know, sometimes you don't always get the stage that you want. Sometimes you just do not have the favorable terrain. And hopefully, Lynn is used to this. Lynn is used to not having the favorable terrain. But perhaps she wasn't debriefed on what she was supposed to be doing. Maybe that self-insert tactician just wasn't there for her when she really needed them. We're only getting our first final smash this late in, but unfortunately, it doesn't matter. All of those self-destructs really hurt Lynn as Rob moves on to the next round. Kind of an interesting situation there. You know, some might blame the stage, others would blame the players. I say it's all fun and games. We've got Steve Minecraft coming in here. Where is he? And his opponent is Hank Hill, right? Yup. All right. Now, truly, you could say this tournament was made for Hank. From the very beginning, it was a question, how do we get this man in here? He's truly just a normal guy. And then that's all it is. Hank's just a normal father in middle of Texas. selling propane and propane accessories. But Steve here, you know, he looks a little bit different, but you know, you can't always judge someone by how they look. I'm sure that's been some of the lessons from some of the episodes of King of the Hill. Or maybe it's just all turned into a little bit of a comedy. But Steve here, Steve's got more than just propane and propane accessories. He's got a whole arsenal to throw at Hank. And blocks to place with no clear alignment. Steve just placed the blocks. And I think we saw a glimpse of it. A very interesting up special from Hank, where he lights a propane tank and explodes with it. Kind of reminiscent of Sandbag's recovery in Super Smash Flash. It does deal massive damage, so that's going to be the one benefit. If the opponent is close, when Hank uses that move, sure, he might get KO'd too, but he's going out with a bang. He might even KO the other opponent with him. It'll be even ground, even territory, and right now, despite being on the back end for a lot of this, the coins aren't that far apart. The Boomhauer combo comes in clutch, locking Steve into a, you know, just getting stung even more. Unfortunately, Boomhauer kind of has to cover for a little bit, as Hank lit a tank of propane a little bit too preemptively. You know, he got a little bit too excited with that one. But as we're down to the last 45 seconds, Hank is extremely low in percent. And Steve, I feel like he could get KO'd. He could live. Steve could live for the rest of the match and just keep this lead. It really is down to whether Steve can get this KO. Or rather, if Hank can get this KO, I should say. If Steve can live. Come on, Dale. Anything? Hank final smash? Oh, it's over. It's over. I think we know our winner for round one. The whole gang is here for the finish to bring Hank to the next round. Steve fans, Minecraft fans, you hate to see it, but you know what? Hank's just got it. And next up, we take it from the western to the eastern. We have Taiga Aisaka versus Sato Kazuma. Both anime characters, both high schoolers. You know, Sato ages throughout the series of Konosuba, and Toradora actually shows them graduating high school, so like, they eventually get older, but they're basically high schoolers. That's all anybody really knows them for. And while Kazuma, you know, he's got magic, he's got some weapons, and it's almost enough. If Taiga's recovery was any worse, she wouldn't have survived that. Right now, despite the fury that Taiga can bring, she's kind of on the back foot here. She's not able to do much because, you know, Kazuma doesn't care who his opponent is. He'll beat them up. He believes in equal rights. You punch a girl, he doesn't care. He'll do anything to win. He'll cheat. He'll lie. He'll steal. Whatever gets him the victory. Meanwhile, I wouldn't necessarily say that Taiga is honorable, but you know, she's at least gonna fight somewhat fair. She only has a bat. Kazuma has a goddamn sword. Unfortunately, not too many of Taiga's moves are landing. It's a small coin amount so far as we get halfway through the match. Only 29 to 30. But I feel like that's just what Kazuma wants. Or rather, no. That's just how Kazuma is. He's never been able to truly get a big payout. he's never really been able to get that much, despite his series being so popular. In World, he is anything but popular. Right now we have Taiga on the back foot here. She hasn't really been able to do much to Kazuma, which makes me worried for her performance in the last minute of the match. If she's able to do anything here, there's this sliding move. I want to say that's a counter, maybe? She's trying to pull off a counter, kind of understanding that Kazuma is also pretty fast himself. But unfortunately, I don't know if it'll be enough. Kazuma will do anything in this match to get past this tiny high school girl. What's wrong with him? Oh, it's a stun. It's not even a counter. Oh, wait. We have a KO, and she taunts for it. And Taiga taunts. The coins are closer, but we only have 20 seconds left. Taiga hasn't been showing a great performance so far, and it makes me worried for how it's going to turn out for the rest of this. Wait, the coin counts are tied. Actually tied. What is she going to do here? Taiga, you gotta live. Oh no. As we saw in the last few moments, as soon as Kazuma got the slightest lead, he started running away. And that will move Sato Kazuma to the next round. As our tournament sheet gives me another error. So you know what, we'll just have to deal with that. We'll move on to the next match. Mach Rider versus Captain Falcon, who is around here somewhere. Right here, right next to him, actually. Now you might also say, well, sure, Mach Rider rides a bike. Captain Falcon, he's a bounty hunter. Yeah, Captain Falcon's a bounty hunter, but there's nothing saying that he's anything more than that. Sure, he has some, basically, oh, what's the term I'm looking for? He's got, not Common Rider, he's got the eccentrics. Like a stupid TV show movie life. That's the kind of eccentrics that go on in the F-Zero world. But that's just the world itself. He's still a normal human in that world. He's just buff and also a bounty hunter. And also a racer. I'm kind of impressed. We're only about 40 seconds into this match, and already 90 coins to 146? These are some heavy dealers here. We saw Mach Rider earlier pull out his bike. I wonder if it's anything like, oh, what? How did Mach Rider get out of that? That had to be a sour spot or something on Captain Falcon. Sent Mach Rider off stage and almost pulled off the perfect spike, but somehow it didn't work. Alright, Mach Rider just gets to deal damage with the front wheel, but front wheel doesn't cover the driver's seat, as Captain Falcon takes that KO, and with incredible aerial maneuverability, Captain Falcon recovers. But recoverability doesn't matter if you just get KO'd. We get a Falcon Punch through the bike and a final smash. We're gonna get to see one final smash in this tournament at least. Maybe. We've got a minute left in the match. Falcon, you gonna use it? Do you want to use it? Does he not need to use it? He misses. We know it's going to be a pretty big hit now. It has a reasonable attack range, but it is a pretty, like, just a singular frame. No lock-in, no stun, no nothing. He just needs to land that shot. And as he likely moves forward, hopefully he'll have a chance to show off that shot. A Falcon Punch, but it doesn't matter. We get the Mach Rider bike falling off the stage. We get the Mach Rider bike falling off of the stage. I mean, it's meant for longer tracks, I suppose. That makes sense. And so for now, we just have we just have Captain Falcon winning this match with a 200 coin lead. Almost 300 coin lead. Alright, we keep getting errors on this page. And I kind of don't want to refresh because it's just going to break again. So, we have up next... Nope. Madeline versus Yu Narukami. Both average, again, normal humans dealing with a little bit of paranormal situations. And we take it to Green Hill. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly Madeline fights, and I guess we get her her darker side to help out a little bit. I'm glad she's able to manifest that as much as Yu Narukami is likely to manifest his personas. Oh, I can finally edit the tournament sheets. Alright, it was Kazuma the Cheater moving on next. And then Falcon swept that match. It makes me a little bit worried for the rest of the tournament if Falcon had such a strong lead against what seemed to be another pretty strong fighter. The winner of this match will have to compete against that monster. Oh, that's a cute little blocking animation. You know, you would imagine the persona user with a big, flashy, powerful persona that can alter the world or whatever to be doing a bit better than this, but he's kind of getting juggled. He's kind of getting juggled. The coin counts themselves aren't that high either. Madeline just kind of does one hit and you get sent. We're also seeing a fair bit of just normal dodging. Actually, I know what it is. They keep getting blasted upwards and just with one move and it's more stall. Right now, it's not looking good for Madeline if, regardless if she gets a good coin lead here or not, she is very likely to be KO'd. It's not like she's been able to completely negate everything Yu has been doing here. But instead, rather, it seems to be relatively close. Okay, well, you kind of threw away what seemed to be a pretty good lead there. Right now, again, it's now Yu who's kind of closing the gap. I didn't notice it before, but you kind of caught up in coin count and then suddenly lost it. He got tripped up, fell off the stage. Madeline, she would never trip. Well, she would trip, you know. She would trip. She'll trip a number of times, but she'll get back up. She doesn't fall. I've never beaten Celeste. I just assume she's climbed that mountain. Anyway, a very unfortunate kill in the last 15 seconds, as there is now a huge gap in coins. And it seems like you will be moving on. I guess she does fall in this match. You know, the shadow of a self doesn't really compare to a supernatural being that is a persona, I suppose. But enough of the supernatural, enough of the fancy, showy off, whatever. Let's get some fighters in here. Let's get some real fighters in here, huh? Let's get Dan Hibiki versus Kyoko. Alright. Both of these fighters, well, Kyoko might pull out a bat or something, I'm not too sure. But both of these fighters kicks and punches. At least that's what I want to say. Dan, can you show us a punch? Can you show us one of those moves you've got? Or is Kyoko just gonna side sweep you off the stage a dozen times? Oh my goodness. Okay, we have a move. We finally have a move from Dan. And in trying to get a KO, he falls off the stage. Okay. So, who are the Dang believers right now? Anybody believing in Dang Hibiki? You know, the famous known worldwide Street Fighter? Or are you believing in River City Girl herself? I'm glad she does have some recovery. Unfortunately, it doesn't really pair well with this kind of stage, but you do what you can. It's better than some recoveries, you know? We get a single bronze coin, but it's sent flying over the stage. Nothing lands back. That is one small benefit from Dan. He's not giving up any of his coins. Unfortunately, instead, he's just going to be picking up everything that's getting knocked out of him from Kyoko's blows. Kyoko right now does have a good lead, but if she isn't able to keep up the pursuit against Dan too well, then it may not turn out well for her. Okay, well, I mean, you know, I'm trying to work it up here, you know? Dan keeps falling off. We got 44 to 106. It's not impossible for Kyoko to self-destruct again. It could happen, you know. Dan believers, it's not impossible. Kyoko could self-destruct another 30 times. See, it's already kind of close. Dan ignores the golden coin, and wow. Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. Okay. 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 That's fine. That's fine too. That's fine. To finish up round one, we have Hoshimachi Suisei versus Amy Rose. Oh, we got ults? Let's just do the normal one. Amy Rose. All right, we've got a pretty closed-in stage here. You know, I'm sure Ling and Rob are looking back on the stage and they're thinking, man, I would have loved this one instead. I would have loved to have this, you know, a nice, normal, flat-ish stage. Some good walk. Oh, what was that grab? I mean, it wasn't too successful, but that just swung Amy so far with a telekinesis ability I didn't know that Suisei had. Typically, I only know her as the singer, but you know, Tetris 2. She's got some Tetris on display. I don't know what that block is gonna do, folks. I'll be honest. Hopefully she's able to do something with it, or maybe bring out another one. Because she might need something to combat this giant, stupidly strong Pico Pico hammer of Amy's. Alright, we're dropping another block. And we've got a wall that is non-functional. Okay. Okay, the eyepiece is going over there. Suisei, I'm starting to remember you do love Tetris. You are pretty good at Tetris. You're gonna need a little bit more than these blocks that just sit there for decoration. Can I be honest with you, Suisse? Because it's almost a 100 coin difference going on here. Alright, we can throw some sparks. We've got a lead. What else can you do, Suisse? Another block. Alright. Do we get a full Tetris clear? Is that what's trying to happen here? You know, you line up enough blocks on the bottom layer and then suddenly you get the Tetris and it's this big awesome explosion that KOs Amy for 500%. Anything? I mean, it's not like it's hopeless for Suisse. It's not like her last name is Hibiki or something. It's Hoshimachi. It's not impossible for Suisse. However, she is going to have to work for it. But if there is anything Suisse's been known to do, it's working for her fame. She didn't rise in Hololive because it's Hololive. She was there at the start of Hololive. She was there to make it popular. But, you know, sometimes branding matters a lot more when you have Sonic the Hedgehog and you are Amy, the damsel, who just happens to also be incredibly strong with an incredible hammer. Amy Rose moving on to round 2. And on to round 2, where we have Little Mac versus Rob. We've got the stereotypical, not the stereotypical Smash Bros match, but it's just Smash Bros. Unfortunately, this awesome stage isn't in Smash Bros, but you know, a fella can dream. Thankfully, Little Mac can recover from that. They're staring on opposite sides of the stage. Not typical for a Little Mac player. Usually they're going to be running you down as close to the ground as they can. Meanwhile, Rob, that is normal. That's typical. Rob will do anything it can to stay away. Alright, we got 1 star. I haven't paid attention to how exactly the star mechanic works, but I do like it. I do like the idea that if Little Mac just plays really well, you get the bonuses. You get rewarded for playing good. That's what we like to see from characters of our beloved series who are fighting in this tournament, and definitely not complete fumbles. Little Mac? I'm not the biggest Little Mac fan, you know, but like, come on, buddy, you can beat Rob. And let me tell you, I'm saying this as a Rob player, as like my 3rd, 4th, or like 5th character that I can play. I'm saying this as someone who can play Rob. I would rather Little Mac win here. And he's doing alright. It's just, there's a lot of range that Rob has, and Little Mac can't get back to the ground sometimes. It's unfortunate, and also, goddamn, Rob's hitbox. Alright, we almost got a KO. Both of these competitors are due for a KO. Rob, soon. And Little Mac, it's just gonna happen incidentally. Anyway, there's one of the KOs. Little Mac running around grabbing so much of the gold. That is actually an incredible lead. Like, at this point, it possibly doesn't even matter if Little Mac stays alive for the next 45 seconds. More so, if he's just able to sustain this lead. Rob, I would pop out this Final Smash right now. Right now. Pop your Final Smash right now. Come on. Okay, we have the start of it. It's dealing some damage, and it's the spike top, and ooh, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? It's doing a lot for Rob. Little Mac, he's got a Final Smash. You have a final smash from Little Mac, please. And it's just enough. Oh, we've seen some buzzer beaters in the past, but Little Mac clutches it out. I mean, okay, maybe not clutches it out. You know, it was kind of Little Mac's favorite that entire match, and Rob got a few good KOs in, especially around the end, but like, come on. And now we have, I'm looking at this matchup, we have the stereotypical Texan dad, Hank Hill, versus the stereotypical shutting Japanese meat, Sato Kazuma. We've got a clash of cultures here. American television versus Japanese anime. We've got American Pride versus Japanese isekai fantasy magic. Of course, I don't think Hank is gonna hold back. And as soon as he sees that this punk kid is throwing all these absurd tricks around, I feel like that's even more reason for... What? I'm sorry, that was a direct swing at a miss? He was right there. I'm not the only one who saw Hank charge up that swing with the propane tank and then miss point blank. Again, what did I say? Kazuma's gonna cheat. Kazuma's gonna cheat as he has that 158 coins to Hank's meager 28. Oh, it's not looking good for our all-American father here. But he is able to retaliate and get a KO, but he's not grabbing any of the gold. This might just be one of those moments, one of those lost in the sauce moments, where he's just focused on giving a beatdown, which it's kind of working, but Kazuma's still getting in hits himself. And dodging most of this. Come on, don't let our hero fall like this. Alright, we have the final smash, and we're gonna deal some damage. This is a guaranteed KO. Off of the upper corner, even. Right now, Hank has pulled it back, but that's another KO! Oh, and it all goes back to Kazuma. Is Hank gonna be able to get enough coins in this sort of condition? Staying above on the platform where Hank can't reach, doing anything he can. Fortunately, Hank does have his friends. He does have his pals. In times of need. Who does Kazuma have? Nobody. Unfortunately, even then, it's just not enough. A 114 coins to Kazuma's 275 plus final smash. Does he use it? Do we get to see Kazuma's final smash? No, we don't get to see it because he misses. Because he's a flunker. Alright. You hate to see it. But the winner of this match is Sato Kazuma. Alright. And to follow that up, we have the devastating force of Captain Falcon versus Yu Narukami, who kind of squeaked out the win in the last match. So I'm a little bit worried for him going up against Captain Falcon, who is doing so much. We're taking it to DDD's palace. DDD's castle, I should say. I don't think it's ever really been called a palace. But we're fighting on the top of it. So right now, again, Captain Falcon is the more experienced fighter here. He's been in the job for years, decades even. even if he's a little bit in retirement as far as we see, I'm sure nothing's truly changed on his end. As far as Smash Bros goes, he's been doing this for decades. You? It's just like, what, a single year in high school? 2 years max? I've never played Persona 4. He's able to trick Captain Falcon into an SD, which doesn't really do much for you at this point. You were still gonna get KO'd, like, if I can be honest. A sword isn't gonna do much against Captain Falcon. He's gonna need to wield all of the might of his persona in order to get through this match. The music is incredible. It's very well done, but it's also extremely goofy. Completely unfitting for what would be a crazy clash going on here. Okay, you? I know you love that slice move. You keep using it over and over. You need something else. You need to, like, slice a little bit bigger. Maybe a swing. Okay. Don't charge your smash attack all the way like that. Even just Captain Falcon's kicks are getting more range than you with his sword. However, as we're down to the last minute, we do have nearly equal coin counts. It's not over for you just yet, but I am seeing that he is significantly higher in percentage. If you is able to work out just enough damage and get a KO after he's KO'd, then it might be possible. But as we're ticking down, as the seconds are ticking, he gets caught in the final smash for a deluxe Falcon punch. But we have the U final smash on deck. Does he get to use it? Anything. There's 15 seconds. Oh, we get it. With an incredible killing blow. The coin counts are close. 103 to 98. Captain Falcon has his final smash again, but he misses. The coins are leaning to you, Narukami. An incredible finishing move. And whittling down the last few seconds of the match, Yu Narukami goes on to the semi-finals. And to see who will be fighting him there, we have Kyoko versus Amy Rose. Alright, let me finish setting this. We have a pretty, it's getting pretty stacked up in the semis. Like, usually there's, like, you know, a few bad matchups in a row and a little flunky kind of tends to get through and then just gets beaten down. But right now, everyone's kind of shaping up to be pretty good. Even this match right here, Kyoko, or rather Amy, pretty strong hammer moves going on. While Kyoko, well, honestly, Kyoko might be getting out comboed here. Kyoko's not able to keep up with this tiny hedgehog and her giant hammer. Like, let's be real, the mallet's head is bigger than Kyoko's head. And Kyoko is just like, you know, high school girl. High school girl heads are not that smaller than adult heads. Especially that one. God damn, it's bigger than her torso. That would kill her. Thankfully, Amy knows her strength, and Kyoko might be getting a bit scared there as she SDs. It's unfortunate, but you know what? If I saw Amy coming at me with a hammer, I would also be scared. Like, just Amy herself? Sure, yeah, I could maybe handle that. I could maybe handle that. Maybe. I'm putting a strong maybe. Amy with her hammer? Nope, I'm running. I'd also run. Like, what was that move? I saw the kill sparks go on, and then immediately another move interrupted it. And Kyoko's falling off the stage again. You know what? I'm sorry for Kyoko River City Girl. However, wait. We've got a lot of gold dropping. And how much of that is being picked up? Almost all of it in the last minute here. If Kyoko's able to not just hold on to this, but also get any semblance of a lead, it may be possible. We're not seeing either of these final smashes, I'll be honest with you. Kyoko is way too far for it, and Amy in 30 seconds, it's not happening. This is just going to be a straight brawl for the rest of the match. The same as we've been seeing, and what we've been seeing may just be Amy's victory. Kyoko's doing everything she can right now to close that gap. Maybe even get out a cheeky, quick little KO. But she's struggling. She's struggling. And in these last seconds, was it ever really close? Amy Rose goes on to the semi-finals. And with that, we have our first match of semis. Whoops, I need to adjust this on my end. There we go. We have Little Mac, the most honest, hard-working fighter we probably have in this tournament, versus Sato Kazuma. Regular cheat, fraud, hack, doing everything he can to get his way.
3, 2, you got this guy. 1, just
You've got this guy, Little Mac. Listen to Doc. You've got this guy. You just gotta believe. You gotta see all the little tricks that he's gonna be pulling out, and you gotta find a way to get around him. He's gonna try and stay in the air a lot. He doesn't have a lot of terrain to get around. There's only one platform here, Little Mac. It's as standard a match as you can get. The coin counts are even close, but unfortunately, not the percentages. Little Mac at 83. Kazuma, cool 23%. Right now, Little Mac is still trying to find his footing in this match against the Magical. As the first KO happens, not a lot's dropped. The coin counts are still relatively low, but that doesn't mean a 30 coin, 45 coin difference isn't big in this kind of match. And another KO? A freeze into getting punched. But Kazuma still swings his sword down to get that spike of a KO. Is Kazuma really going to go to finals? Are we letting this guy in? Surely not, Little Mac, right? But I'm looking at the scores. I'm looking at the stats here. I'm looking at everything that's been going on. And I'm starting to doubt that. I'm starting to doubt that. Is honest hard work and the day of training not enough anymore? You just have to be given your powers, you know, a little luck, a little bit of cheating, and that's it? That's all it takes these days? Little Mac, you can't take that line down, can you? After all the work you've done, going up the minor, middle, and major league tournaments. He almost gets the he almost got the KO punch going. But he gets his own. He just gets a natural raw KO. Little Mac. Yes! Little Mac is back in the lead with 20 seconds left. Kazuma, what are you gonna do now, buddy? What other tricks do you possibly have this late into the game to pull out of your sleeve? You've got nothing. And pushed against the corner. What does he do? Not enough. In these semifinals, Little Mac moves on. All right. And to follow that up, we have Yu Narukami also just barely squeezing out his victory versus Amy Rose. We have hammer versus sword, blade versus blunt force. We are in the cage. If anything, this is going to be to Amy's advantage. A parry. She doesn't care that you pulled out a persona and just shot a beam of energy at her. She's going to parry it. She's going to combo you into the wall. Punching glove, hammer spin. You better hope that all those coins bounces back into himself. That's really all he's got here. Because Amy's not joking. Amy's not screwing around. I gotta say, what a contrast from Sonic. Like, we had 2 iterations of Sonic. Let me say, 2 iterations of Sonic. Both of them blundered. Both of them kind of sucked. Amy, just the default version of Amy that we have here, blazing through this tournament. Now, I would have said, you know, put her up against Captain Falcon for a more even match. But, you beat Captain Falcon. Yu Narukami beat Captain Falcon in the same rules, the same match, the same fair set that everybody else has been going through. So you know what? If you couldn't do it, then I don't know if Captain Falcon could. I think Amy Rose beats Captain Falcon. Swing hammer, swing sword, swing bigger hammer, win. We have 220 coins to 48. Come on. Come on. At this point, I think we can start saying with some confidence what's going to be in the finals and third place match. We're going to get Yu Narukami versus Sato Kazuma. Old age RPG versus new age. Oh, I guess Konosuba isn't really that new age these days. Like, sure, it kind of played comedy of isekai, which is enough of modern. And is it still going? I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure Konosuba, the manga, ended. Oh, we've got a nice little trio. A nice little trio move. And it's parried. And you can parry it. And it doesn't matter. We got a little taste of what's to come. Amy Rose moves on to the finals. But that's not the last we're gonna see of you. Whoops. From here, he's got one more fight. We have our third place to find between the 2 anime high schooler swordsmen. And we're taking it to the Steamworks. Plenty big stage for Kazuma to run away, assuming he's got the slightest lead. See, even with their swords, I feel like Kazuma's faster. He's used to swinging that thing as fast as he needs to. Meanwhile, he's in a turn-based RPG. You know, he gets his turn to swing his sword, he gets to, you know, reel it up, and then reel it down. Kazuma doesn't have that luxury. So, in that sense, he's a little bit more honed to some live combat. And right now, it is kind of showing. Between these two swordsmen, two high schoolers, both Japanese, both thrown into scenarios beyond their normal understanding. An incredible spike. And what does it do? These two, on the surface, have a lot more in common than you'd think. Personality-wise, I don't think that's the case. Personality-wise, I think Kazuma's kind of a shitbag. Meanwhile, Yu Murakami, I don't know much about him either. But considering he's a Persona protagonist, I'm sure he's a fine fellow. I'm sure he's, by default, more morally upright than Kazuma, who has a dodge into counterattack. Like, not the standard counterattack, but just, he can just dodge a move, say, no, you didn't hit me, and then hit. Because all of his moves are pretty fast. That is one bonus going into this. So unfortunately, Yu Murakami might have gotten in over his head. I think Captain Falcon could have won this one. I think Captain Falcon wipes the floor with Kazuma. Like, you cannot give this kid a fair match, because he will not play fair. Like, what is that? He's only at 125, and you're saying an area down air sword swipe is enough to cause the KO sparks. Get real. Alright. We all see how this is going. We all see it panning out. We don't even see a final smash on the horizon. Count it down, Chief. We have our winner. Taking third place, Sato Kazuma. I guess he gets something. But now, we have the finals. A master of combat throughout the entire set that she's been fighting through, Amy Rose. I mean, sure, she had a pretty easy first round, but seeing how she's been fighting... Actually, no, it was Kyoko with her easy first round. She had Suisei. Alright, either way, she's been storming through. And Little Mac, the underdog who could. Taking it to final destination, it's time to see for the 14th tournament, who reigns richest. Alright. While Little Mac's fought fast opponents before, Amy is something above that. Amy has speed and power. Just casually brushing off blow after blow from Little Mac. He is getting those hits in, and he is dealing good damage, and right now he is in the coin lead. He's got 2 stars on deck. But is that going to be enough? Amy basically saves Little Mac right there. But, for what? Just to fang him up with more coins? Are we seeing another piggy bank strategy here from the winging side? Okay, well, maybe not winging side. Right now, Little Mac is honestly sweeping up most of these coins, even if he is sweeping up most of the damage taking as well. But he does get a good KO in. But is that really for his benefit? Because once he gets KO'd here, that's all of this lead. Wait, not all of it. Not all of it. Little Mac isn't out of this just yet. He still has the coin lead. Percentages are back to equal. But with how fast they racked up those KOs, and we're only halfway through the match, it could be down to the wire here. We've got Amy trying to swing more blows at Little Mac, but with a lot more maneuverability than she's expecting. He is not that easy to land a blow on. Little Mac slowly learning to hold shield. Okay, maybe not that time. But he's holding shield. He's blocking the necessary hits. He's getting the counters. Amy is approaching in coin count. But is it going to be enough? As he gets another KO punch, more good damage on the board. And that's really all he needs right now. If he can keep Amy Rose down for just long enough. Meanwhile, Amy doesn't even need that many hits. Sure, she's got a few combos, and now we've got both final smashes on deck. Is Amy going to be able to land hers? Is Little Mac going to land his? We've got 1 foot. Wait. We have the Amy Rose final smash in play. I'm not sure what this does. I'm not sure what this does just yet, but it KOs? Little Mac, what are you going to do? How do you respond to this? You have to use your final smash, don't you? You have to use it right now or you won't have time. But he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He gets the KO. Amy drops to 166. And Little Mac is in the lead. And with that, our winner, Little Mac. Perseverance, determination, the will to never give up, training day in, day out. The honest little fighter from New York, Brooklyn, I forget, I'll be honest, but it doesn't matter, because he's standing at the top here now. Little Mac wins.